José Mourinho is no longer the coach of a top 5 European leagues. Fans around the world sadly remember his candid press conferences. For example, when he said that Manchester United's second place in the 2017-18 season was one of the best achievements in his career. But at that time, his words were not taken seriously. In his last year at United in 2018, he gave an emotional speech about the legacy and fate of many players who recently left club. As time will show, his words turned out to be prophetic, and years later the careers of many mentioned players went into decline. His time at the club was associated with high expectations and unfulfilled hopes. Everyone knows that recently Manchester United has been going through tough times. After Sir Alex Ferguson's departure in 2013, the situation, which initially seemed unstable, turned into a serious problem 10 years later. Since then, the club has been led by various individuals, but no one left a mark like Mourinho. He held a leadership position for 2.5 years, and his contribution to the club's development was noticeable. However, the last 6 months of his decade-long career were marred by the fact that he often left the locker room and bluntly spoke the truth, which did not receive proper feedback at the club. Today, we intend to move away from stereotypes and look at the situation objectively. We will try to understand how successful Mourinho was compared to his predecessors and successors. And most importantly, we will assess to what extent the club itself was the cause of its decline, rather than any of the managers. Many believe that the problems at United began after Sir Alex left. But if you look more closely, you can notice that the first signs of decline appeared even in the last years of the management. It seemed that in the last years of Sir Alex's work, the club achieved stability and confidence in its abilities. This allowed them to perceive their success as something taken for granted. Jamie Carragher once said that Sir Alex's only mistake was that he poorly assessed the magnitude of the club to which he led to. To some extent, this statement is true, since he could not foresee how difficult it would be to find a replacement for him and maintain high standards. At that time, the club's CEO was David Gill, who was part of the club's structure for 16 years, until he resigned along with Sir Alex. In 2013, his position was taken by Woodward, and this decision was untimely. The new leader did not have a clear plan for renewing the team. After Moyes' period, Van Gaal received significant funds for his project, but did not achieve the desired results. In May 2016, he won the FA Cup, but 2 days later he was replaced. Special, Mourinho, always a person with an extravagant reputation. In the summer of 2016, when it was announced that José was joining United, the fans were full of optimism. However, not everyone shared this opinion. Some believed he did not fit the club's philosophy, while others criticized his tactics for being overly cautious. The failures of the two previous managers pushed the club to choose a proven specialist. They needed a winner. According to Mourinho, he faced many obstacles on the path to success. He used a practical approach to surpass his competitors. In the championship, the team achieved 17 victories and had 15 draws. The number of draws may indicate that the team was not always confident in their abilities. In November 2016, Mourinho's United finished in 6th place in the standings, having collected only 20 points in the first 13 matches. This was the worst result for the Red Devils in the Premier League, and was even below the lowest points of Moyes and Van Gaal in their first season, 22 points. In the summer of 2017, the club conducted an active transfer campaign, signing new players, Lukaku and Lindelof. This allowed for an improvement in the squad, and by December, the management was ready to offer Mourinho a new contract. The club's management publicly expressed support for the manager, noting that he was chosen for the long term. However, Mourinho began to appear constantly irritated during matches, and at press conferences, he looked tired, not energetic as usual. Despite this, in January 2018, he received a new contract. Perhaps it was this contract that allowed Mourinho to feel more confident in his role, as he displayed assured results. In April 2018, United elegantly defeat City by coming back from a 2-0 score thanks to a brace by Paul Pogba, allowing the club to secure a place in the top 4. At the end of the season, United finishes in second place, simultaneously securing a spot at Wembley, where they will face the final match against Chelsea. The achievement is solid, but we must not forget that the Devils exceeded expectations, as few top clubs could provide worthy competition due to the rebuilding of most of the Big Six. Also, Mourinho was obviously unhappy with many players. Conflicts continued. He also said that the team didn't have bright personalities. Mourinho directly stated that players who are not getting enough playing time, such as Martial and Luke Shaw, do not demonstrate stability and reliability. In the year 2018, Pogba went to Russia, where as part of the French national team, he became a world champion. Throughout the tournament, he demonstrated outstanding game. Mourinho noted that it was the perfect tournament for the player since he was completely focused on football without being distracted by extraneous things. The third season under the guidance of the Portuguese coach was about to begin soon, but there was tension felt in the locker room. Due to his constant requests for new players, he also had disagreements with the scouting department. Incidentally, at that time, Mourinho asked the management to sign Harry Maguire from Hull City, but they refused, only to break the transfer record a couple of years later by signing the Englishman from Leicester. This indicates that the Portuguese's view of the transfer market and the Manchester United management's view were different. In the summer, Fred and Dalot joined the club. However, the manager claimed that he had a list of candidates a bit more solid. Mourinho persistently demanded to acquire a new central defender, but the management was not quick to make a decision. After another transfer window, when Mourinho did not get the desired lineup, he was disappointed with the repetitive issues in relations with the management. After 3 defeats, including from the Spurs on their own field, which became the largest in José's entire career, Mourinho was under intense pressure. The next day, he held a press conference which became one of the most remarkable. He demanded respect for himself and compared the number of his Premier League titles to the achievements of all the other 19 managers combined. In September, a new conflict arose between Pogba and other players, which had probably been brewing for a long time. Behind the scenes, players expressed dissatisfaction with the lack of decisiveness in the team's attacking actions, and they don't understand why they can't be more active. It was a clear hint at Mourinho's pragmatism. Pogba was removed from the position of vice-captain, and a public argument ensued between them. Manchester United began the season worse than ever in recent years, and the head coach continued to express dissatisfaction with the players' mentality. In October, it was expected that the league match against Newcastle would be crucial for Mourinho. The team was losing 2-0, but eventually won that match by scoring 3 times. However, the Portuguese's position was still shaky, and in December, Mourinho was indeed fired. With each new season, we increasingly understand that Mourinho's victory in the Europa League and his second place remain the best result for the Reds, of the Red Devils. More importantly, some of his sharp remarks about the club were confirmed over time. After that, Mourinho coached clubs like Tottenham and Roma, and now he is working in Turkey with Fenerbahce. But it's clear that his tenure at Manchester United is greatly underrated. He exceeded expectations, and no one since has achieved the same results with the team.